Welcome to the Rural Revival Podcast. I'm your host, Dana Larson. Today we're taking you to the charming little town of New Glarus, Wisconsin, where craftsmanship, community, and a whole lot of heart come together. I'm sitting down with Tim and Morgann Boettner of A Well-Worn Story. They're a husband and wife team with a business that's focused on high-quality, handcrafted leather and canvas goods. What started with just $5,000 and some spare time has grown into something truly special, a blend of online hustle and a brick-and-mortar storefront where they make everything by hand. In this episode, we're diving into their journey, how they expanded from an online shop to opening a storefront with a workshop in the back, the way that they've curated a space that's as beautiful as their products, and why balancing online and in-store sales has been a winning combo for them. We'll talk about their new private label collaborations with other small businesses, how customer feedback sparked fresh ideas for their product line, and why they're so passionate about the slow fashion movement, because quality matters. Tim and Morgann are also sharing the keys to their longevity in business, how they've teamed up as a husband and wife to make it all work, and what's changed in New Glarus since we last caught up. From their love for historic buildings to the wild adventure of entrepreneurship, they're keeping it real, staying true to their brand, their values, and their faith. Before we get started, if you're thinking about hosting your own farm or ranch dinner this summer, our Farm Dinner Event Kit has everything you need. This kit covers every part of your planning, from organizing volunteers to ticket sales to creating an unforgettable experience for everyone involved. And of course, the tips and tricks that we've learned along the way. We've designed this to help save you time, streamline the details, and make things as easy as possible for you. And our kit just happens to be on sale for this month only. So go to ruralrevival.co/farmdinner for all the details. And now grab a cup of coffee or maybe even a brew from New Glarus Brewing and settle in for a conversation about building something that lasts, both in business and in life, as we dive into Tim and Morgann's well-worn story. All right, well, we're here with Tim and Morgann Boettner of A Well-Worn Story in New Glarus, Wisconsin. Guys, thanks for being on the podcast. Morgann, this is you're coming back on the podcast.
Yes.
And Tim, this is welcome. We have a lot of catching up to do since the last time we talked.
A lot has changed
in
5 years.
It's amazing. Mm-hmm. So before we get started, Tim, give us a little bit of background about you. What do we need to know about Tim?
Ooh, that's a loaded question.
Give us the highlight reel.
Well, I'm born and bred Wisconsinite. I grew up in Oconomowoc, Wisconsin. And then I kind of traveled around the U.S. I was in the military for a little while, and then other things just kind of, brought me around, and eventually ended up back in Wisconsin. I just love Wisconsin, so this is the place where I belong.
Awesome. And we have to know how you guys met and what brought you here.
Yeah, so we met online.
Okay.
I was at a stage in life where I wanted to start dating, and online felt like the best option. And yeah, it's kind of a crazy story because he found me and I was outside of his radius so it was definitely a God moment. Shortly after we met, it was maybe 5 months later, we were both kind of sure that we were the one and that we were going to get married. And so he was looking for apartments here in New Glarus and ended up renting a space in this beautiful old building. And after he signed the lease up there, we met with the landlord and we saw that the commercial space on the first floor was available. And then he signed a lease upstairs, and then I signed a lease downstairs a month later.
For a store.
For a store.
Yes.
So,
yeah, big faith on her part there for this random guy that she just met moving down. And then, I'd made a promise to her that, I would stick by her if she opened up this storefront. And, a few months later we were engaged, and about a year after we found this space, we were married. So
I love it. So had a store, like when we first talked, this was in 2019. Was this in the back of your head? Like eventually I'd like to have my own storefront, or was that even a thought on your radar?
I mean, I had a Pinterest board going for a couple of years, so I guess it was on my radar, but it may be something that I would want to try someday. But it wasn't until I met Tim, I think it was our first date, that the last question I asked you before you left was if you could do anything, what would you do? And he said, I'd love to open a storefront and sell my own products and some other Wisconsin lifestyle goods. At the time, he had a woodworking business, and I was doing the leather goods, and we just had a lot of shared values as far as working with our hands. And so the fact that he wanted to do the storefront was like, okay, I like that. This guy's got a vision, and I could support that.
Oh my gosh, you guys are definitely a match made in heaven. This is awesome.
Yeah, and wood and leather go together so well. So we eventually kind of combined the two, and now we focus mostly on leather, but his woodworking skills have come in handy a lot in just the store displays and things like that.
Awesome. Well, I want to talk more about what that was like when you moved here and starting all this, but I feel like we need to kind of catch people up at first from where you were in 2019, living out on the farm. You were just sewing there, to take us from that point to when you opened the store.
Yeah, a lot changed in that time. I had always had a home studio, and I really enjoyed that season of life. But my family went through some hard times and ended up having to sell the farm, and it came as a shock. And I always knew that I wasn't going to live there forever. It was a temporary space. But it got me thinking, where am I going to go? And that was when I met Tim, and he kind of had this vision for a store. And I always thought, oh, it'd be cool if I could be making product in the back and sell it out of the front like people used to do in the old days. And so, when I was working at the farm, I had grown the online business to a place where I didn't have to market that much. It was kind of a well-oiled machine. I knew about how much I could make in a week and sustain. And so that was kind of rolling. And so I thought, as long as I can depend on that, I think we could lease a space and we could afford that. And at the time, I kind of thought that the storefront would just be a bonus and kind of be just a fun creative expression, which it is, but that side of it grew a lot faster than I thought it would. So so we still have the online shop, and we're still always making and shipping orders out, but the last couple of years has definitely been focused on the store and growing that.
Awesome. So what year was it that you opened the store?
2021.
Okay.
Yeah, it was September 2021 when we had our grand opening.
All right. Mm-hmm. So you made the most of your COVID time.
We did.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was a big, COVID was actually kind of a blessing for us because I was already online and I had this online presence, and so I didn't see any dip in sales. I think I actually saw an increase in 2020, and so that gave me the confidence, I think, going into 21 that we do just have great online clients that keep buying from us. And so having that client base of return customers, I knew we could take the risk on the store.
Yeah. So Tim, when you got here, did you jump right in and just become part of all of this?
I mean, I tried to. I kind of inserted myself into the business as much as I could, in a good way, I hope. I jumped in and tried to learn as much as I could, especially about the leather work. I think that's just kind of, ingrained in my blood in making things, being a maker.
Yep.
So I just it was a new medium to me, and I was like, hey, what is this leather stuff? I want to work with it. So I just jumped in and said, hey, I know nothing, Morgann, teach me. And so I just started learning, and when we opened the storefront, I was working a full-time job, actually with her brother at the sawmill. And then so I would come home after work and I would help her in the studio, and then on the weekends I would be running the store so she could be making and just trying to learn as much as we could and grow.
Wow. Did you have to do a lot to the building?
Yeah, so we when we first got here, the building, this used to be a meat market, and so it was we worked with the landlords to kind of bring it back. They had done a lot of work to gut it and to get everything out, and so it was down to the studs, down to the dirt floors in the back. And so, we worked hand in hand with them with planning and with actual physical labor to put things back to the way they are now. And then we did a lot of trim work and all the doors and just you name it. We were in here day and night working. So
Wow. Well, it's an amazing space.
Thank you.
Yeah. Just to give our online listeners a little taste of what they might experience here, like tell them what to expect when they come here, because visually it's just so incredible. It's like out of a magazine. And how did you craft the look and decide? A lot of these are your products, but I see that you maybe brought in some outside ones too. So how did you go about all of that?
Yeah, I think that was one of the funnest parts for me, was the beginning of the project. Like Tim said, we worked with the landlords. It was kind of like a build-to-suit situation. So we got a lot of say in where the walls were placed and the doors. And so that part of it, we both love old antiques because things just aren't made like they used to be. So we spend a lot of time at antique stores and architectural salvage places trying to bring some of the character back in, because unfortunately it had been gutted and a lot of the original stuff couldn't be saved since it was a meat market. So we got these really cool rolling doors that separate the shop from the studio space that Tim put in, and they came from out of a factory in Madison. And they have some windows in them, so they still let light in. But we love those that we can close off the studio if we want to. But most of the time when the store is open, those doors are open, so people can actually look back and see us making the product while they're shopping for it, which that was really important to us.
Yeah.
It's kind of amazing the amount of people that come in and they'll be walking around the store for a little while, and then they look back and they're like, oh, you actually make it here. Yes, we do. Or they'll ask, what are you guys doing back there? Because they've never even seen an industrial sewing machine before. So that was a big piece. The building does have a lot of original pieces, like the tile floor is original and really beautiful. And then there's a giant mural on the one side that was originally an outdoor advertisement for the bakery that's next door.
It's awesome.
And from what we know about it, this part of the building was an addition.
2 years after, we think it was that the bakery next door was built in 1916.
Okay.
This was added on in 1918.
Okay.
And so, like, doing some research on trying to figure it out, there's pictures in 1917 with some prominent locals around here, so you can date them and age and all that. And the mural wasn't painted on there.
Oh,
so
wow.
they think it was painted right before it was added on. Probably never saw a winter. It is in pristine condition.
And most of the time when you see these, they're really faded on the side of brick buildings. So to have one that is in perfect condition and the colors are vibrant is really cool. People come in and they're like, did you guys paint that? No way. If I could paint that, that's what I'd be doing for a living.
Well, it's nice to know all that hard work didn't go to waste. Like, it's appreciated now.
Yeah. And I don't think anyone in town knew it was there because it's over 100 years old. So when the landlords pulled the plaster off, they found it. And it was the talk of the town for a while.
Sure.
Still is.
Still is.
An
People
amazing
come in
surprise.
just to see the mural. which is cool.
Very cool. So I know when we last talked, you sold some of your products in other stores and online. And so now that you have this space, do you sell exclusively here and online, or are you still in other shops?
We are exclusively here and online. The online shop operates a little bit different than in-store. We don't keep any inventory in stock for the online shop, so that's all made to order.
Wow.
And that's kind of a way that it just kind of helps with cash flow, that we're not just sitting on all this inventory all the time. And it allows our customers to customize the pieces a little bit so they get to pick their color. And then the storefront, the inventory is always changing because it depends on what sells and what we kind of feel like making that week. Or if there's a new leather that we want to try, we'll do that, and we'll have special pieces that are only available in store. And then we've recently started doing some private label for a few other businesses where we can work with them to come up with a custom product and burn their logo into it. And we're kind of excited about that route. I don't know that we'll sell in other stores as long as we have our storefront, but we do like the private label and just helping other small businesses bring their vision to life.
Very cool. So when we last talked, I think you were making bags and a lot more custom stuff, but you've really expanded your product line. So tell us how you did that. Was it little by little, just trying out new things, or what was your thought process behind all of that?
Yeah, you can jump in on this too. I feel like a lot of it was Tim, actually, because it used to be, I think, 90% women that bought from us. And since opening the store and then Tim coming over full time to the business, he had all these ideas for belts and wallets, and we would have guys come into the shop and ask if we made belts, and I had no interest in that. But Tim was super excited about it, so he kind of...
To be fair, I was super excited about everything, so I just wanted to be part of it and do something. But
that's awesome.
To be realistic, that when we opened up the storefront, we had seen a lot of the psychology behind the storefront and retail, and who comes in, who's buying in this area specifically. And so, like Morgan said, there was a lot of people that would request things, and okay, yeah, we can do that. And then, we would just put a couple out, and then if we got enough requests, we would start doing those things. Belts were the number one thing that we've requested, that were requested, and those have taken off. It's one of our best-selling products, both in store and online right now. And so we just kind of went back and said, what kind of designs of other things are people asking for? And we noticed a lot of the gentlemen who would come in here and sit on our couch eventually would start going, hey, what's that? And they would look at some of our wallets, and then they would look at some of the stuff. And now it's, it's kind of we have products for everybody in here. And so we just kind of went, hey, let's start small and just keep building on what people are asking for. We do have a line. We don't do just everything, but we just kind of branched out. And now we have glasses, cases, and wallets, and belts, and we just came out with a large wallet for women. It's fold out, and it's been requested a lot, and so hopefully that'll go online shortly. But we're just always kind of trying to bring something new and fresh, and we listen to our customers, what they want, but we also stay true to who we are and our brand. So
yeah, and the belts made a lot of sense for us to do because it is a product that you can't find really anywhere, like a full grain real leather belt. Yeah, like you can only find them at flea markets that were made 50 years ago. And so a lot of our product inspiration comes from antique pieces that were built to last. And I mean, we even tried to look at belts at like Farm and Fleet and they say that they're leather, but it's just genuine leather on the top that's glued to plastic, so kind of like a veneer. And
you can kind of tell.
It doesn't feel right. It's not going to last. After about a year or two, it starts to rip off. And so we are really passionate about bringing back some of those high quality products that are time and true. You're going to use them all the time. You're going to wear them in. They're going to become more beautiful, and hopefully you'll hand down to the next generation.
Yeah. I know we talked in your first episode about your desire to bring slow fashion back. And I feel like that whole movement has really gained traction since we last talked. Do you feel like that's the case?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. That's the other good thing about selling to men. We have noticed that the guys are more likely to buy a higher quality piece, and it takes less convincing. Usually if they like one of our belts, they're like, cool, I'll take one in every color. But there has been, in general, I think more and more people are open to, they want a high quality product that's not just going to break down after a couple of years.
Yeah. I feel like people are just paying more attention to that, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's one of the great parts about the storefront is education for people who don't know, especially with belts. You have a lot of guys that are like, why is my belt falling apart? I'm like, well, hate to break it to you, but it's not real leather. And so it's a good education when you can talk about the different types of leather and why is this falling apart. What is our leather? We use full grain, which is the truest form of the leather. And a lot of people, what they're selling in farm, or in any of these big box stores, that they're genuine leather or products of leather. And so people don't understand that. They're kind of fooled by it because it's just kind of, leather dust that's glued back together. And so it falls apart after, less than a year of use. And so, with us, this stuff will last a lifetime as long as you take care of it and you can pass it on to your kids even. So
heirloom pieces.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. I love it. Was it a big learning curve transitioning to having a storefront? Because is that something either of you had done before?
No.
I've worked in retail.
Okay.
But never owned or managed at retail. So yeah, that was a big jump for me too.
Yeah.
Did you have any good mentors along the way?
We have a lot of good relationships in town here.
Yeah.
With fellow business owners and former business owners. So we have got a couple, I like to call them the old guys that come in here that are locals that like to tell us, what to do and what not to do.
They know everything.
We take it with a grain of salt,
Glarus.
but it's a lot of good advice.
Yeah.
But we've also made relationships with other business owners that are also Christians that are doing this for the same purposes that we are, and we just bounce ideas back and forth off of them and say, what are you doing, how are you doing it, and so that's been a real good inspiration. And when there's challenges, we can always talk it through with them.
So good.
We also had a really strong client base when we opened the store. I think it would have been a much harder jump from just starting a business and, with no client base and just going straight into brick and mortar, because we were just all about serving our clients. So it made picking pieces for the store a lot easier, just keeping our customers in mind and just focusing on serving them, and then hopefully finding more people like them.
Yeah.
Because I think it can get a little crazy when you're trying to design a space. You're making your own product, and we have other artists that we feature in our store as well, other products. And I think it would be easy to just go down the path of, well, I'm just going to fill my shop and with whatever product sells and whatever makes the most money and whatever the tourists want to buy. But staying really rooted in what our brand is about and our values, and also what our customer base wants, was really helpful in just honing in on what kind of products we want to sell in our shop. And some make more money than others, some sell better than others, but we love everything that's in here.
I think that's so important, especially as a creative.
Yeah.
Gotta love what you make.
Yes.
Yeah.
So part of our mission and our big picture is the biggest thing is that we bring to the business is what we try to do in our daily lives. And so we ask ourselves, what's the best thing we can do to glorify God?
Yeah.
We put God first. And I just say, it's amazing the things that happen in this storefront. In this season with this brick and mortar, the things that the Lord uses us in to bring Him glory is amazing, because we can share the gospel with people here. There's so many people that come in and say, "Hey, I'm new to the area. Where do you go to church?" And so we've had actually a number of people come to our church and become members because of that. But it's a good way to just start the conversation, and to just be the light in the community, and that's just kind of our goal. How the business grows with that, kind of just that's, I hate to say it's secondary, but we put Christ first, and all things will follow. We put our trust in Him, and there's so many times, especially with in a tourist town with retail, it's a very seasonal business. So there's times when, especially like this time of year, where we aren't open on the storefront very much, but sales are a lot lower than they are in the fall, and we just have to trust the Lord that He will provide, and we do our best to give a good do a good service and give people good products, and we go from there.
Mm-hmm. I love it. And so you mentioned you kind of fluctuate with the visitors in town. So is it the brewery that draws a lot of people?
Yeah, our town is very touristy. It's like a town of 2,000, but we're about 30 minutes from Madison, so we pull from there, and then we pull a lot from Minneapolis, Chicago.
Oh, awesome.
The town is mostly known for the Swiss influence from the immigrants who settled here. So the architecture and the cuisine, I think, is what brings people here initially. And then there's also New Glarus Brewing, known for the spotted cow. They only sell in Wisconsin, so that brings a lot of people here. So yeah, it's a good balance for us, I feel like, with having the online shop and with physically making our product. Like, most of our time is spent making the products that we sell.
Yeah.
And so to be a typical brick and mortar where we're open 7 days a week would just not work for us.
Yeah.
And so being in a small town and it being more weekend traffic, we close our shop in the middle of the week, and that's kind of our flexible days where we can be making online orders or restocking the store. And then we open Friday, Saturday right now, and we usually add Thursdays in the summer and fall. But yeah, it's a good balance because I don't think our business could make it on just a storefront and just walk-in traffic.
Yeah.
Our online clients still, and our made-to-order business is really what keeps us going in the lower months.
Yeah. And to give people some context, the first time we talked, you had bought your industrial sewing machine off of Craigslist, and now you're up to 3 industrial sewing machines. That's amazing.
Yes.
We like to collect them.
Yeah, it's partly because I just love them. But yeah, we actually need more machines. We've grown a lot with producing our products, and that is what we focus on. Like I said, we have other products in the store, but we're still mostly interested in making high-end leather goods. So that's where we invest back in our business and better tools and things that can just improve the making process.
So good. Well, now that you've been doing this for a while, what year did you start, by the way?
2013.
Okay.
Is when I opened an Etsy shop. So it started part-time.
Yes.
When I had a full-time job, and then I went to my part-time job, and then my full-time job, and then Tim's part-time job, and then Tim's full-time job. So it's been very slow growth. which is a blessing.
Yeah.
To not have it all happen at once.
What do you think some of your keys have been to the longevity of the business?
I think constantly growing in little ways.
Yeah.
Constantly adapting, constantly staying true to who you are, staying true to your business and your values and your product and like your vision for your business. Staying true to that is key, but growing in that and being able to adapt to whatever circumstances God throws at you, I think that's one of the biggest things.
Yeah, I would say seeking counsel as well. You know, it talks about that a lot in Proverbs of many counselors makes the plans go well. We've definitely seen that to be true. And then I would say along those same lines, like getting feedback from our customers. We're always checking in with them of what they want and just focusing on serving. We're not focused on like becoming celebrity Instagrammers or something. Like we just really want to serve our people well, and I think that has made people enjoy our brand, and that's what keeps them coming back.
Yeah. If you were starting the business today, is there anything you do differently that you've learned along the way?
I can speak for Morgan. Buy tools right away.
Yeah.
One of the biggest things that I noticed when I came in to the business was Morgan was doing things the difficult way, which is fantastic, and I love you for it. But she was just like punching every hole by hand with a swinging a hammer, and just doing the most physical things possible. And I was like, why don't you just get a press? Why don't you just get this and this? And she goes, what am I doing? So how just buying certain things to help the growth, I think might have been one of the things that we could have done. I say we because she started it, but could have done early on and maybe been a little easier to do things.
Yeah, what did I say the other day? I've never regretted any of the tools we've bought. Or any of the people that we've hired to do work that we're just not as good at. So letting go of some of those things and just focusing on the areas that we're good at. Like my friend Mariah does all of our branding and graphic design. I'll send her ideas on Pinterest, and then she brings it to life because she has those skills. And so not being scared to hire out some of those things. So that's what makes Tim and I a good team, I feel like, because I'm really good at the grassroots, and that's what our business was. Like I had $5,000 and I just slowly built it with cash flow. Like there was no other money.
Yeah.
And I was really good at that. But then when we grew, I was more hesitant to spend the money on the tools and hiring help, and I'm more risky in the long-term things, like buying a building or something crazy, but he's a little more risky in the day-to-day, so it's a good balance, I guess.
Yeah, she jokes. She always says she loves when I run to the grocery store because I'm not afraid to just pick up this. And she's like, we don't need that. But she loves it when I buy it.
Yeah.
Same for tools.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think it's cool that you got to bring in this outside perspective.
Yeah.
But with a heart that really cared about what the business was doing, and what a great team you guys make. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How have you seen New Glarus grow since we first talked?
That's a great question. There's a lot going on in our town for just a town of 2,000. And that comes with positive things and some negative things. Like I said, we're a very tourist town, but a lot of the people who come are over 50 years old. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think they just did, the chamber did some numbers, and the average is 45 and up of the demographic that comes here mostly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we've kind of been trying to appeal to a younger crowd, because New Glarus is awesome. There is all this Swiss architecture. There's really cool cuisine that you're not going to find in other areas of Wisconsin. And so trying to kind of keep the tradition alive. And there has been a lot of growth. I think the brewery just announced that they're going to be doing a $55 million addition to their hillside space. And then the New Glarus Hotel, which is right across from our shop, just got bought. A group of investors are going to be bringing that back to life. That was historically a supper club, boutique hotel, and a dance hall. We actually got married there when it was closed. It closed after COVID, and
we were the last wedding to take place in that building before they sold it.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
And that was only because we know the owner, or knew the old owner. But it's just this gem of a place. It's always been like a community gathering space. And so we're working with them on some bigger projects this year to bring that space back to life. And so there's a lot of local people who are really trying to, just keep the tradition alive and kind of appeal to the next generation.
Yeah. Well, and I'm sure the brewery helps with that. One of the things that I loved, and are they still doing it? I want to know. But wasn't it that if you shop downtown, you get a token for free beer at the brewery?
Yeah, you get
something like that.
So when you go to the brewery and you do a tour with them, it might even be not even just a tour, maybe just tasting. Forgive me, brewery, if I'm wrong. But if they'll give you a token as well when you do that to come downtown and go to a local establishment and buy a beer here or a drink here. So that brings people from the brewery to downtown. So it's a good incentive for them to come down here and help and support the local economy down here.
Yeah, I think that's a cool idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the other cool thing that New Glarus does is we have a couple big festivals every year. So in June we have Polka Fest, and that brings a lot of people. And Beer, Bacon, Cheese is that weekend too. So there's vendors from all over Wisconsin that come and they sell their beer and their bacon and their cheese. All the best things.
Yeah.
And then people are doing polka in the middle of the street, right outside our shop. So that's fun. And then there's Oktoberfest in September, last weekend of September. And then they just added a couple years ago when we opened the store, the Chris Kinley Market. And that's our biggest weekend of the year. There's these little Swiss chalets that they line up down First Street. And so there's different craft vendors in those. And then just fun seasonal things that they do at each one of those festivals. And those are always huge weekends for us. But we are trying to figure out, like, okay, local businesses can't just live off of those 3 big festivals.
Right, yeah.
It's great influx of traffic, but how do we get those people to come back on other weekends? So having spaces like the New Glarus Hotel, the brewery, and honestly more retail spaces. Because our town is known for food, a lot of people come here, but they'll come and eat and then go home. So like, how do we keep them here for a whole weekend? So yeah, we're excited to kind of help out with some of those projects.
Yeah, creating the whole experience.
Mm-hmm. The downside is that as our town has grown, I think the real estate market has doubled since we got our space.
Wow.
Yeah, so some of the challenges, and I won't go too into it, but some of the challenges is, like, we're so close to Madison. We're so close to the capital of Wisconsin. And we're still within driving distance, so people can come out and live here, but yet commute to work in Madison and surrounding areas. So you've seen it since 2020. You've seen an influx into New Glarus, a lot from the city and surrounding areas, which is a good thing. It's not a bad thing for us to grow, but some of that is the housing market and the commercial real estate market has kind of grown faster than our local economy has, because and Morgan put it really well the other day. People come to the festivals and they see, oh, this town is booming, it's great, and which we do well. We do well in, but we're very seasonal. We're June to December. January to June is hit or miss. It's weather dependent. There's not a lot of festivals. There's not a lot of, anything else like that. So there's the challenge for the small business to, how do we make things work in the first part of the year, and rent costs always going up, and if you want to buy a building, sometimes it's unrealistic for a small business. We've seen the last year or so more small businesses sharing storefronts to cut the costs of rent and to just still be downtown here and still be, hitting up the festival and the tourist destination seekers, and so it's just brings challenges, and we weigh that every day, and we evaluate that and see where the Lord takes us on that. But
so good.
Yeah.
Well, what's next for you?
Good question.
New baby coming June.
Yes.
Yeah, that's our main focus right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't mention that we got married, and then
Yeah, so you want the rundown? You want the rundown on that?
2 weeks after, and then
Can I give you a rundown on that?
Yeah.
Okay, so we met January of 2021. We rewind a second. We started talking online in September, October, and it was back and forth here and there. My schedule, her schedule, whatever. We didn't end up meeting officially until January of 2021, and it took off from there. We had our first date. We just hit it off. I had actually, side note, I had been a professing believer at that point, but talking to Morgan and some of her friends, I came to faith knowing, or I should say just understanding certain things, certain principles that what I had grown up with and what I had thought was just poor gospel. And so I came to actual faith and got baptized in June. But I had moved down here in May, like I said before, we found the apartment. And then we had signed a lease downstairs here at the commercial in June. I proposed in November. We got married in May. Pregnant 2 weeks later. When we initially started the storefront, we had shared the space here with the landlord.
Okay.
So we had a kind of split storefront. And so that fall, the dates are kind of slipping on me, but that fall, we had the opportunity to take over the entire storefront here and make it all art, which we were very excited for, but it took on new challenges. We were pregnant. I was helping to renovate a house that we were moving into. And so we moved into the house in December. Madeline was born in February.
It's a wild ride.
Yeah, it's a wild ride. We've just grown and grown and grown and grown and grown, both our family and the business. So it's, but we take it one stride at a time.
That's amazing. So you got your family, and anything beyond that, or is that new babies?
Yeah, as we mentioned, we don't own our building, and in some ways, we love historic buildings, whether it's old houses, old commercial buildings. Tim has background in woodworking and some building, and I just love design. So I think at some point in our future, there will be a buying of an old building and fixing it up, because we both love that too much to not do it.
Yeah.
But it's just the right thing coming along at the right time. The brick-and-mortar works well for our life right now with little babies who's sleep in the back. But I could also see us at some point buying some land, again, fixing up an old house, maybe doing more curated events. We've talked about building a camp and having a camp store and just sewing bags on some land with some glamping spots. I don't know. We have a lot of ideas, but the values behind the business don't change. I mean, there's been lots of different expressions of the business over the years. And I think one of our strong suits is that we don't really pigeonhole ourselves into one way of doing business, but the values don't change behind it. But we're open to what it looks like depending on what season of life we're in. So
awesome.
Yeah, we'll see.
A camp seems very on brand for you.
It does. And we both love the lake, so it's going to happen at some point.
Okay, we're going to keep watching.
Giving away all the secrets now.
Yeah.
Sorry. We've also talked a lot about the storefront, but we do still love the online business, and all of our clients we're always shipping to Texas and East Coast, West Coast, and it's a lot of return clients, and we're just really thankful for them. And I think in the last 3 years, opening the storefront was almost like opening another business.
Yeah, I bet.
We had grown the online, and then for a couple years, it was like we were just thriving off that, plateauing almost in a good way, though. We were just enjoying that growth. And then the last 3 years has been growing again with the storefront. And now we're kind of enjoying that, but I sense that there's another growth that's coming soon, and part of that's going to be getting back to our online clients some. I feel like we've neglected them the last couple of years.
Yeah, we've been working on some projects.
Mariah's designing a new website for us finally.
Nice.
And we're going to bring back the email list. I had started in 2020, and I really enjoyed doing that. And so this time it's going to be called the Explorers Club. And it's going to be a really fun space where we can serve our clients similar to how we do in the storefront. I mean, people come in and they'll ask about how they can care for their leather product, and we'll show them our leather oil. And so it's the same way, but we would like to do it for our online clients as well. And then we just love Wisconsin. We love exploring Wisconsin. So we're always up north or Door County or the Driftless region, and we just like exploring other places, supper clubs, small businesses. And so that's going to be a portion of the Explorers Club as well, just how we can shout out other cool towns that are in Wisconsin and other small businesses too.
Love it.
And one of the most important things to us is, if not the most important thing in this business, is our clients, our clientele, our customers that are sharing in the stories with us, and we want a way to feature those clients. So that's going to be a big part of the Explorers Club is like, let us know what you're doing and where you're going and the things you're seeing, how you're using our products as well. So it's really just kind of a way for us to feature people. It's not about us, it's about everybody doing this. So yeah, that's going to hopefully be big, and we love to see what people are doing too. So
I love it. A lot of opportunity. Yeah. Well, how does everybody follow along and get signed up for the Explorers Club?
Yeah. So we're hoping mid-April for a website launch.
Spring. We're just going to call it spring.
Yeah, spring. I am pregnant, so there's a lot of factors. But yeah, follow along on Instagram at A Well-Worn Story. And then we have our current online website where you can shop, wellwornstory.com, or come to New Glarus. Take a road trip.
Absolutely.
So you can't mess it up either, because we finally, after years and years and years, were able to purchase the domain of wellwornstory.com.
Nice.
Versus just well-worn. It was a big moment. And so we have both, so no matter what you do, it's going to get you to the right place.
Perfect. Yeah. And we'll link to it in the show notes too. So
perfect.
Guys, thanks for being on the podcast.
Yes,
it's been great to catch up.
Yes.
Fun.
Well, what a ride this has been for Tim and Morgann. Their story is an amazing testament to the power of quality, adaptability, and staying true to who you are, all while building something that lasts in a world that's always changing. We've covered so much ground today. Their leap into brick and mortar, the way they've listened to their customers to grow, their passion for slow fashion, and how their faith and values keep them grounded through it all. Plus, those little nuggets like Tim's woodworking meeting Morgann's leathercraft and the way New Glarus has evolved really paint a picture of a life and a business woven together with purpose. If you've enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And head over to our show notes for more about New Glarus and A Well-Worn Story. Give them a follow, check out their goods online, or swing by if you're in the area. Thanks to Tim and Morgann for being on the podcast, and thanks to you for tuning in. Have a great day, everybody, and we'll see you down the road.